present. Let's proceed. The next item on the agenda is closed session. Do we have a motion to enter into closed session?
Madam Chair, in accordance with Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the Franklin City School Board enter into a closed session to discuss and evaluate matters related to new hires, supplemental employment, promotions, adjustments, resignations, and a non-resident student pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1 and 2.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? The board will now enter into closed session. Thank you. I'd like to first remind all board members when they are speaking or they choose to speak to please press the mic. We are getting complaints from people that are actually watching and recording this, and also from everyone outside listening, that we're not speaking the mic and it's not clear enough. So please do press your mic when it's time for you to speak. The closed session has concluded. We are now returning to open session. I would like to entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussions? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda other than number 27?
I move that we approve the agenda minus item number 27.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in those favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Yes.
The agenda, or when you looking at the agenda, you're approving the agenda, not the personnel agenda.
Right.
The agenda, we don't have an item 27 on the agenda.
Okay. My apologies.
Just wanted some clarity there. So you're, the motion was to approve the agenda,
Yes, ma'am.
not the personnel agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're gonna strike that portion about less item 27.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for clarity.
Thank you.
I do have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Is approving the personnel agenda, does that include the lawyer?
No, it does not. Thank you.
I just want to give you some clarity. She said the agenda didn't have an item 20, what was it, 27?
That's actually the personnel agenda.
That was the
That's later
personnel
on.
agenda that she was talking about.
Mhm.
We were on 3.2, approval of the agenda itself that we're working on right now. We haven't gotten to the personnel agenda.
Do we have a motion to come out of closed session?
I move that the school board, having been in closed session pursuant to a proper motion, come out of the closed session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or aye. All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Do we have a motion for certification?
Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712.d of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, and now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and, number 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Do we have a motion to approve the personal agenda, removing number 27?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All of those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Do we have a motion to address the non-resident students?
Madam
We didn't
Chair, I
have
make
any.
a motion, we deny the application for the non-resident student.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Ms. Davis?
Mr. Grant?
Present.
Ms. Parker?
Present.
Dr. Harrison?
Here.
Ms. Boone?
Here.
Mr. Holt?
Present.
Ms. Bailey?
Present.
Dr. Carter?
Present.
The consent agenda, 4.1 and 4.2 minutes are first read. We will address each of these at our next meeting. Superintendent's report, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Ms. Tompkins.
Good evening, Ms. Boone, Chair, School Board, Dr. Carter, and those assembled here today. I want to talk a little bit about our accountability. As everyone knows, those accountability pass rate numbers were put out on the Virginia Department of Education's website, and they are now available for all to view. But before I go into my presentation, I'd like to address some data that was put out and sent to several members of the board as well as others, but was also a part of Facebook. And that is a data that ranked all of the schools in the state of Virginia. So we have had some calls from other school divisions in Virginia asking about the data, where it came from, and how was the pass rate measured. So we did our due diligence, had a conference call with the Virginia Department of Education to determine where this data would have come from. Virginia Department of Education said that they do not put out such data, nor do they rank schools based on pass rate. Pass rate of what? Would it have been reading pass rate? Would it have been math pass rate? They don't know, and they don't put out such data. They also shared with us that they also went through their internal channels and they confirmed whether or not the data was authentic. And here's what they sent back to us. I can confirm with certainty that the Office of Assessment, Office of Accountability, Office of School Quality, Office of Data Governance and Standards did not create this report. This is not a valid VDOE report. The Virginia Department of Education does not rank divisions based on pass rate. So that information is inaccurate, and I would strongly suggest that anyone who might want to share that, I can't tell anyone what to post, but I would strongly suggest that if you have shared it, if you have posted it, that you should take it down, because it does not reflect a true, authentic piece of data. It is incorrect, and it did not come from the Virginia Department of Education. Now, I'll move into our accreditation.
I'm going to ask once and only once. If there's an outburst in here, you will be removed from here. Thank you.
So, the Virginia School Performance and Support Framework, I presented this information several times. I presented it when it first came out. I've also revisited this in January as well as in February. The accountability system has no longer are we using we are using accreditation, conditional accreditation with conditions, or accredited denied. We are going into performance categories, which includes a point system from 0 to 100. So as you can see on this slide, schools that have 90 points or above, they would be considered distinguished. 80 to 89 points would be an on-track school. 65 to 79 points would be off-track, and a school with below 65 points would be considered a needs improvement school. Next slide, please. So, what are our score bands? If students are taking an SOL assessment currently, the scale score for Pass Advance is between 5 and 600. Pass Proficient, 4 to 499. Fail Basic, which only applies to students taking SOLs in reading and math in grades 3 through 8. Fail Below Basic is 0 to 24. Some of you probably are aware that the Virginia Department of Education, the state board, is proposing that we change the scale score for proficient, and they have given several markers on what would be considered proficient. For example, in reading, proficient could potentially be a 444 versus 400. There are also some grade levels, so each grade level will have a different performance band, will also have a different performance scale score that will determine whether or not that student has performed proficiently or advanced. So right now we're waiting for guidance from the State Board of Education regarding this change. Next slide, please. So as you can see, our mastery index, that's the new language that the Virginia Department of Education uses to determine how students are measured if they pass or fail. This gives an example of a 100-point scale. So each student, now under the new accountability model, each student has a point value. As you can see on the slide, advanced, the score would be a 1.25. If the student score proficient, it will be a 1.0. Meets basic, fail basic, 0.75, and below basic would be 0.25. As you can see at the bottom, let's say we had 40 students who were proficient. You would take the number of students times their assigned point value, which would give you 50. That's only a part of the accountability model that gives you the points to determine whether your school is on track or whether your school is distinguished. Next slide, please. So, I've talked about the high school model, which uses your cohort year, which means when do you enter 9th grade in a Virginia public school. Your data we start looking at in the 9th grade or 8th grade if you took a high school course like Algebra 1. If a student took Algebra 1 in 9th grade and passed the SOL, that student gets credit for that. But under federal regulations, they must take one math, the first math that they take when they enter high school. Next slide, please. Now, what assessments will be counted towards the accountability model moving forward? It will be end of course reading, which traditionally students take in the 11th grade, or our students with disabilities who would have a VAP portfolio, biology, or Algebra 1. The only exception is if a student took Algebra 1 in middle school. Next slide. So Franklin is unique in terms of its school configuration. We have a middle high school combination, which using this weight system, you have reading mastery that only counts for 15% of your total score. So pass rate would only be a portion of a total score between 0 and 100. Your total score for this combination would be 50%, which would be mastery. It's simply if a student passed or failed the SOL. For those students in 7th and 8th grade who are at our high school, they get growth points. For example, if a student scored 310 in the 7th grade, but they scored 345 or 370 in the 8th grade, they could get potential growth points. So they get credit even if they don't pass the test. They get credit for showing improvement over time. The next configuration we have is for the graduation rate for 4 years. Chronic absenteeism, taking advanced coursework, the 3E framework, which is employment, enlistment, or enrollment in college. We get 15% of that in terms of our total score. These score equal 100. That is how you are determined as to whether or not you are an on-track or a distinguished school. Once again, the language of accredited denied, or accredited, or you have you're conditionally accredited or accredited with conditions. That's the old language. We no longer use that language. Next slide, please. So, taking a look at our 3-year pass rate. This data has been put out by the Virginia Department of Education. It is on its website. As you can see, the 3-year average, or the 3-year pass rate, where you see green, those are areas where the school division improved over the previous school year. So I'll give you an opportunity to just take a look at that. Okay, next slide. So this is how our students performed in math. Where you see no data, it means either we did not test students at that time. For example, in 22-23, prior to my time, it is my understanding that some students in the 6th grade took the 7th grade SOL assessment. So there would be no data for them for the 6th grade data. And then the same would be for the 8th grade. Next slide, please. This is how students performed in science. Next slide. This is how our students performed in social studies. Next slide. And this is our 25 senior cohort, which means we have to monitor how did our senior class perform based on those markers. A math, which would have been Algebra 1, biology, and English and reading. Students still are required to have 5 verified credits, which means they have to pass 5 SOLs, 1 in writing, 1 in English, 1 in biology, 1 in Algebra 1, or if they did not pass Algebra 1, then they could take Algebra 2, and if they took Algebra 1 in the 8th grade, and then they took Algebra 2 in the 9th grade, and did not pass, we would not get any credit for the student, but the student would have their verified credit for Algebra 1.
Quick question.
Yes.
So, one, we don't have history on here. Is that no longer part of our past data?
Remember, we have no data for 22, 23, 23, 24, because this is the first year that we are required to keep up with the cohort.
So then the next question I have, and I'm just trying to interpret the data. So if we have our senior, well, this was pass rate 24, 25, so we don't know what 25, 26 looks like yet, correct?
Right, because this comes at the end of the school year.
Yeah, so okay. I'm just, again, but we would take these ones from 24, 25 and say, well, look, we've got 38% of our kids have not passed English and reading. We're going to mark those kids and say, we need to make sure they get this passed within the next year, right? That's how we can use that data?
Right. So what we're doing to determine how well we're doing with the senior class, these students have graduated. So what you have to do is you have to look at the cohort. We are now on cohort 26. So
Okay,
next
this doesn't
year,
help us for this year.
no,
Okay, that's what I wanted to check.
no, this is just the pass rate of those seniors who graduated in June of 2025. This was not a part of the accountability system in 22-23. So that's why you only have 1 year of data. Next year, we can compare cohort 25 to cohort 26, which is why we've started looking at that cohort data today during our senior meeting today, because we want to see what students need right now so that we're able to support them early on. Okay, next slide. So here's the framework, and the only thing that has come out is the mastery component. In order for a school to get its rating, you have 25% growth and 10% readiness, which includes chronic absenteeism. And because we are on a unique trajectory, we use from the previous slide, we have can you go back, Mrs. Davis, to 2 slides? I'm sorry, 3. Keep going, I'll tell you when to stop. Go back. Right here, thank you. So as you can see, because our weight is based on a combination school, it looks different for middle and high school. So whatever configuration, the state has a different way in which they calculate your point value. All right, go back all the way. Next slide, please. So what are we doing as we move forward? We've made some leadership changes. We created a clear choice program, which helps support students, not just because they have discipline issues, but students who need a different environment by which they learn. We've updated the course offering guides to reflect that we have a freshman seminar, which gives our freshmen who come in, even though they've been there since the 7th grade, that freshman seminar course teaches them now how do we progress through our high school year when we start earning verified credits to ensure graduation. We've also updated our grading procedures so that it's very clear on what students are graded on, how they are graded, what the weight of the categories are, and when they make up work. We've instituted the quarterly graduation cohort meetings, which we had our first one today. We've revamped the master schedule to ensure that students have a variety of opportunities by which they will take their courses. We've got enhanced CTE offerings, and of course a Camp Scholars program, which allows students to go to party camp free after graduation. Next slide. So I will entertain any questions at this time.
So looking at our data, we've got the seniors of this year. How are we looking at this point? Have we got a lot of work to do this year, or where are we at?
Not as much as we had the previous year. But it's still very early, because we have to go, because of this new accountability system, students earn multiple points. So students earn points for being a completer, which they have taken some type of CTE course, part 1 and part 2. We have to monitor who gets marked for taking a dual enrollment course, who's on the associate's degree path. So it's going to be a little more complex in terms of, because kids can earn multiple points in their senior year for completing some of those requirements that the Virginia Department of Education has instituted. So it is less, it's more work in terms of opportunities for kids. We have to make sure that they don't fall through the cracks.
This program is, excuse me, this program is new. There's a lot of components and parts to it. Is this going to actually make things more difficult, or is this going to make things easier for the students with the way that this whole grading scale, and I don't even know what to really call it.
Now, when you say grading scale, what are you talking
it's
about?
not really a grading scale, but their breakdown on how they are assessing everything. Is this actually better than the module that they've used previously, you think?
So I won't necessarily say better or worse, but we are now having to track everything. The students aren't doing anything that they wouldn't normally do. We just have to track each component. So it's more on us as a school and the division to track it appropriately, but students have been doing this all along, so it doesn't impact them. They've got to take part 1, part 2. If they take a dual enrollment course, before we weren't tracking that data because it wasn't a part of accountability. Now it is. So it's just more paperwork. Mm-hmm. Yes, so as soon as we have that data, right now, the Virginia Department of Education has released pass rate, all of the things, the growth, the readiness, that hasn't been released. When we had whatever you see here, that's public information. We certainly can put a fact sheet out for people to understand what it is that we have, but we will report everything that we have access to. Any other questions?
I know you said earlier that you've gotten calls about that report that came out. So
Yes.
Other localities know that that came out.
Yes.
Does the VDOE realize that that has come out?
Yes.
And knowing that they know that, and they must know that the heighten of the community, because that's been out, are they willing to make a public statement to our community to let us know, directly to let the community know?
As I have shared, the Virginia Department of Education, when they give us their answer in writing, that is their response. They will not provide additional response because it is not their information. They can only confirm whether or not they have provided the information and the validity of that. And they have provided that in writing. And that will be their only statement that they will make regarding this matter. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
There was one other thing I would like to share. In our previous board meeting, during closed session, I was asked what were the teacher retention rates. And so in error, I gave the wrong information. Dr. Minor on September 18th on our next board meeting will give you detail. But just to give you a snapshot, it was stated out that it was 34 teachers that had left the division. Actually, it is 19 teachers that resigned, 1 retired, and 3 were non-renewed. So that is the correct information. So Dr. Minor will speak about that September 18th, and I just want to make a point of clarification. that I gave that specific board member the wrong information.
Are you done? Yes, ma'am, I'm done. If there are no other comments, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussions? All those in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.